Hello and welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter. I teach you how to start flipping and wholesaling houses in New York, and if you're already doing it, how to grow your business. So I got a question a lot about how is the real estate market in New York. So obviously there's something that changes slowly over time, but the answer really is in most of New York State, the market is the hottest it's ever been. Certainly in New York City suburbs, it's the hottest it's ever been. I'm talking about prices unseen. I'm making offers. Sometimes I look at it, I go, I cannot believe that I'm making these offers. So it's important to understand there's a lot of reasons why. I don't know all the reasons why. I don't know how long it's going to last. Some of the reasons why today I believe the market is so hot is because of eviction moratoriums and foreclosure moratoriums. And what that's done is it's created much less movement, many fewer people getting out of properties. So tenants aren't leaving because they don't have to pay rent and they know it. That's causing a real shortage of rental housing. And the same thing with people that maybe would have sold their house or people would have sold their house maybe, and if the tenant left, sold their house because they were having trouble making payments. They don't have to now. The moratoriums have really affected the market, I think, in a big way. Now, I don't know. It's impossible to predict how long the market's going to last this way, right? It's been going up, really been going up, if you think about it, since 2009, 2010. We're talking about 12, 13 years into an upcycle. Usually they don't last that long. I hope when the moratorium comes down that things will equalize a little bit, but I don't know. Anybody who tells you they do know is full of crap. They don't know where the market's going to go. I thought the market would correct a long time ago, so I was wrong. What I think is going on, some areas of New York City are not as strong. People have sort of left there, but I think they're coming back now again. It's funny, really there's no New York real estate market. There's maybe in New York City, even in New York City, there's different markets. There's Brooklyn, there's Manhattan, there's the Bronx, there's different parts. But everything is really local, and every part of the real estate market is local. So within an area, right? There are areas that I deal with that are crazy. Like Elmont is insane lately, right? Now they're building a stadium and a Long Island Railroad stop there, so it sort of makes sense. But there's numbers there that I thought I would never see in my life. That's how strong it is. And there are plenty of other areas where that's very loud. There are plenty of areas that are also extremely, extremely hot, where it's hard to get properties. And I think I believe, and it's my stupid opinion, what the hell do I know, that it's related to a lot of these moratoriums, that's causing an sort of artificial lack of supply, right? Because there would always be people moving, there would always be renters leaving, and now you have landlords who have a tenant who's not leaving, so they can't sell their house even though they want to. You have people that maybe didn't want to go into foreclosure and would have sold, but figure, what the hell, why not? I can stick it out longer. And that's what I believe is going on. I believe this is sort of an artificial. Now, it may not be so artificial. It may also be demand related. In other words, there might be a lot more demand. I don't know. I thought post-COVID that there were going to be a lot of people who lost their jobs, who wouldn't be able to buy houses, who were going to be financially in trouble. Maybe the government stimulus has corrected a big chunk of that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But a lot of the forbearance being given to mortgage holders and a lot of the just moratorium on payments is, in my opinion, affecting a lot of the supply. So obviously this is a supply and demand kind of situation. If there's more demand than supply, which is the case now, prices go up. But if there will be more supply than demand, which could be the case when the moratoriums end, I don't know. And I don't know how long it's going to take to get through the system either. Then maybe prices will go down. I don't know. I do know the real estate is always cyclical. Always. It always goes up and it always goes down. You almost never stays the same. So things don't go up forever. And people sort of forget that in an up market. I remember clearly back in 2007, 2008, a lot of people believed that the market would continue to go up forever. That was part of the reason for the problem. I was in the mortgage business, and I can tell you without a doubt that the real problem, if you want to blame one person on it, and there's a lot of blame to go around, but the real problem were the ratings agencies. What happened was that all these mortgages were going into securities, and the ratings agencies were giving them very high ratings, even though they were horrible loans, right? They were loans where no one had to show income, no one had to show assets, no one had to show, the credit almost didn't matter. It was terrible. And they didn't have to put any money down. That was the biggest part. Put no money down. So anybody could get 100 loans to buy 100 houses with no money down. So the thinking from the ratings agencies was that these were sort of new products, right? No income, no asset, very high loan to value ratios. And that in the beginning of it, so let's say 2006 and 2007, they kept refinancing, right? Because people would buy properties and the market would go up and they would just sell them. So they said, well, they seem to be performing. And they didn't have the foresight to say, well, what happens if the market levels off or goes down? They didn't make that determination. I remember there was one famous meeting with I think it might have been in the movie Big Short. It was probably in the book Big Short, where one of the people sort of figured out that this was a house of cards, was at a analyst meeting with, I forgot who, might have been Bear Stearns, might have been Lehman Brothers, maybe it was some other investment bank. And he basically said, he was looking at his model. So the guy had a spreadsheet up and saying how we think everything is going to go well. And maybe it wasn't at a meeting, it might have been. And he asked a question of something along the lines of, hey, what happens? They had HPA, I remember, home price appreciation. I remember this well. And it was always estimated at like 2% a year or 5% a year. And he goes, what happens if home price appreciation goes negative? What happens to your model? And the analyst said something to him like, my model doesn't allow for a negative figure in there. In other words, like the concept of home prices negatively appreciating, or prices going down, was so foreign to the people that were creating this. So Wall Street was to blame for some of it, for sure, but the ratings agencies were letting Wall Street go forward. So I believe that the ratings agencies were the main culprit in the crash. And that's what I believe. Because if they were supposed to be the watchdogs. Now, it's an absurd situation with ratings agencies because they get paid by the investment bank. And if a ratings agency would have ranked, some guy would have actually figured out what's going on and started ranking these securities at D instead of A minus, they wouldn't have gotten much business anymore. But that was the situation. They allowed Wall Street to create these products where there really wasn't enough risk priced in. I'm not saying the products were bad, although some of them were bad. They should never be 100% or 110%, like you say, John, loans with no. There should never be loans like that. If people had to put up money, there would have been a lot less of a crash. People didn't have to put up money, so they just bought, and there was no reason not to. There was no risk to them. Would their credit get screwed up? Maybe. But they didn't believe that it was going to, the house of cards was going to fall. So I believe that the rating agencies were mainly to blame. Of course, there were scrupulous people in the mortgage business for sure. I worked at a company for 17 years that's still in business. We didn't do crazy loans, right? We didn't do 100% loans. We capped things off at 90%, because we thought that was nuts. But guess what? Anytime we said no to somebody, they went to somebody else and said who said yes, right? At one point I compared it to. It's like some new gasoline comes out that says it gives you 300 miles per gallon and it only costs 20 cents more per gallon. Everybody would buy it. And then then we would rely on some kind of science lab that said it's safe for your car. But if later everybody's car exploded because this thing wasn't safe, it's not going to be the gas station attendant's fault that you took that stuff into your car. If it's available everywhere, somebody would have done it, right? It's the science lab that said it was safe. That's the problem. And I felt, and I still feel like it was the ratings agencies that sort of certified these absurd securities that made no sense on these loans that made no sense. And that's what I blamed it on. But that's just my stupid opinion. What the hell? No one really cares what I thought. So how's the real estate market in New York? It's hot as blazes, okay? I can tell you record prices in most areas that I operated in Long Island, record prices in most areas of my friends who work in the Hudson Valley, record prices in almost everywhere around New York City. New York City itself, a little iffy. Co-op condo market has been soft, but it might be coming back now. I don't really operate a lot in the city, but from my opinion, we've never seen prices this high. It absolutely cannot sustain forever, but I don't know if it's going to turn in 5 years or in 5 minutes. I have no idea, and I don't know how much it's going to turn by. Maybe it'll go down 5%. Maybe it'll go down 30%. I don't know. I don't care. If you're thinking about getting into this business, you shouldn't care about these things. It's a great time to be in the business. Great time. And when things go down, it'll be a better time. So I'm almost looking forward to the market shifting, to the media getting on the air and saying the real estate market's in a downfall. I think that'd be great because a lot of sellers for literally a long time have felt like the longer I wait to sell my home, the more I'm going to get for it. And if the media starts putting out there that the market's going down, at that point, that attitude changes. And the attitude becomes, I got to sell my house pretty fast, because the more I wait, the less I get for it. So I'm looking forward to that shift whenever the hell it comes. And I know it will come. I don't know how much it'll shift by. I don't know when it'll come, but I'm happy to it. I'm happy. I'm welcome. What the hell am I trying to say? I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait for it to happen. So I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in other ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're interested in my course that teaches how to do what I do, go to howtoflipnewyorkcourse.com. If you're interested in coaching, go to coaching.howtoflipnewyork.com. What else? If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on any channel, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. What else? I'll keep the comments coming. So I'm getting comments lately. I really appreciate it. I'm going to answer comments. If it's a simple answer, I'll just reply with an answer. If it's a topic that maybe I handled a bunch of times, or I've done videos on a bunch of times, I'll send you the links to the videos. And if it's something I haven't done in a while, or something that I haven't done yet, I'll be happy to do a video on it. So thank you very, very much. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, John, for watching. Thanks. And thanks for your thumbs up.